Mason Blake wiped sweat from his forehead as he trudged through the dense forest of New Terra. The morning sun filtered through the canopy, creating dancing patterns on the ground. His pack was heavy with plant samples collected during his daily expedition as the colony botanist alone in this wilderness for almost 2 years. Mason had grown used to the silence. A strange sound caught his attention. Something like whimpering, coming from beyond the ridge. He adjusted his course, climbing over fallen logs and pushing aside the blue-tinged ferns native to this world. The colony was miles away and no one else should be in this sector. Mason froze at the top of the ridge. His eyes widened at the sight below. A small spacecraft had crashed into the valley, leaving a trail of broken trees and scorched earth in its wake. But it was not the ship that made his heart race. It was the 2 figures huddled against its damaged hull. They were clearly not human. Their skin had a pale lavender hue and their ears tapered to delicate points. Their hair shimmered with an iridescent quality like flowing silver water in moonlight. Both appeared female and identical in every way. Mason had never seen their kind before. But he recognized them immediately from historical records. Elvari, the mysterious elf-like species from the distant Lyrian system, known for their advanced technology, magical abilities, and their eternal war with the Draconian Empire. They rarely ventured to human space. The colonial government had strict rules about alien contact, especially concerning species involved in the galactic conflict. Mason knew he should report this immediately to the authorities. But something about their condition made him hesitate. They looked weak, hunched over and trembling. Mason slid down the ridge, approaching slowly with his hands raised. The twins noticed him with identical expressions of fear. Their large, almond-shaped eyes glowed with a faint purple light. They spoke in musical tones he could not understand. When they tried to stand, they stumbled and fell. Mason rushed forward, forgetting caution. One twin collapsed completely, while the other placed herself protectively in front, showing unexpected courage, despite her weakened state. Mason opened his pack, pulling out his water container and food rations. He offered them slowly, keeping his movements gentle. The protective twin hesitated, then took the offerings. Her hands were elegant with 6 slender fingers. She sniffed the water before taking a small sip. Her eyes widened, then she helped her sister drink. It took hours of patient coaxing, but Mason eventually gained enough trust to examine them. Both suffered from dehydration, malnutrition, and minor injuries from the crash. Their ship was beyond repair, communication systems destroyed. He faced an impossible choice. Leave them here to die or break colonial law. Night was falling. The temperature would drop significantly. Mason made his decision. He would take them to his research cabin. It was isolated enough to hide them until they recovered. Then he could figure out what to do next. Getting them to his cabin proved difficult. They were light, weighing less than human children, but they drifted in and out of consciousness. Mason carried one, then returned for the other, making slow progress through the darkening forest. By the time they reached his cabin, the moons of New Terra had risen, casting silver light across the clearing. The cabin was small but comfortable. A single room with a bed, workstation, kitchen area, and fireplace. Mason gave them his bed, wrapping them in thermal blankets. He prepared a broth from local vegetables he had determined safe for consumption. The twins watched his every move, their identical faces showing a mixture of fear, gratitude, and curiosity. Over the next few days, Mason learned their names through improvised sign language. The stronger twin was Lyra, the quieter one Kira. They recovered quickly once properly, fed and hydrated. Their natural resilience was remarkable. Mason discovered they could learn human language at an astonishing rate. By the end of the week, they spoke broken English, picking up new words hourly. They explained they were fleeing from something important, but their vocabulary was insufficient to explain what. One night, as Mason tended the fireplace, Lyra approached him. Her movements were graceful, almost floating. She placed her 6-fingered hand on his forearm. "We thank you, Mason." "Blake," she said, "you save us when others might fear us." Mason smiled. "Some might still fear you if they knew you were here." Kira joined them. The twins often moved in perfect synchrony, as if sharing one mind. "We know danger for you hiding us. Colony rules. Forbid aliens here." "Yes," Mason admitted, "especially aliens from worlds at war." The Elvari conflict with the Draconians made most humans nervous. Lyra and Kira exchanged glances, communicating silently. "We were not warriors." "Mason." "Blake," Kira said softly. "We served Queen Elenia in royal court." Mason nearly dropped the firewood he was holding. "You served the Elvari?" Queen Lyra nodded. "We were handmaidens to Her Majesty. Since childhood, we fled when Draconian forces attacked royal vessel. What Mason did not know was that across the stars, Queen Elenia mourned the twins, believing them lost in the attack. They were more than servants. They were her daughters, sent away for protection, disguised as handmaidens. The Queen had sent search parties across the galaxy, her heart breaking with each passing day without news. Back on New Terra, the twins grew stronger. Each day they helped Mason with his botanical work, learning about earth plants and sharing knowledge of flora from their homeworld. Their presence brought life and laughter to his lonely existence. Mason noticed something strange happening. The twins began treating his cabin like a home, rearranging things, making small decorations from forest materials. They prepared meals using their own cultural methods combined with his teachings. When he returned from work, they greeted him with joy. One evening, Mason found them weaving patterns of light between their fingers. "A form of Elvari art," they explained. "You are not afraid of us anymore." Mason, Blake, Lyra observed. No, Mason admitted, "I was never really afraid. Just cautious." Kira smiled, her purple eyes glowing warmly. "In our culture, when one saves another from death, starvation is death. They become clan family, bond stronger than blood." Mason considered this. "Are you saying you consider me family now?" The twins nodded in perfect unison. "You feed us, shelter us, teach us." Lyra said, "In Elvari tradition, you are now our clan father." Mason felt something warm spread through his chest. He had been alone for so long. The thought of having family, even alien family, filled a void he had not acknowledged. What he did not yet know was that this unexpected family would soon be drawn into the center of an interstellar conflict. The twins carried secrets that both the Elvari and Draconian forces desperately sought, and somewhere in the forest nearby, a small wounded dragon awakened, sensing her bonded companion was alive. For now, though, they sat together by the fire, three beings from different worlds, finding comfort in their new bonds as the twins sang soft Elvari melodies. Mason realized his lonely life had changed forever. He would protect these two no matter what dangers came. 2 weeks passed since Mason brought the Elvari twins to his cabin. Their presence had transformed his simple dwelling into something that felt truly like home. They learned human customs quickly while teaching him about Elvari culture. Their recovery was remarkable, their strength and vitality returning day by day. Mason noticed Lyra often standing at the window, gazing toward the forest with an expression of longing. Sometimes in the night he heard her whimpering in her sleep. Kira would comfort, her twin sister whispering words in their native language that Mason could not understand. One morning, Mason decided to investigate the crash site again. He needed to ensure no evidence remained that might lead colony security to his cabin. The twins wanted to accompany him, but he insisted they stay hidden. The spring air felt crisp as Mason hiked through the wilderness, following the path he had taken that fateful day. The damaged spacecraft remained partially buried in soft earth. Nature had already begun reclaiming it with climbing vines and moss. He searched the perimeter looking for anything useful or dangerous. A soft sound caught his attention, something like labored breathing, coming from beneath a fallen section of the ship. Mason knelt, pushing aside debris. What he found made him stumble backward in shock. A creature the size of a large dog lay curled in a protective ball, its body covered in iridescent scales that shifted between blue and purple hues. Too small, wings folded against its back twitched with each shallow breath. A dragon. Mason had only seen such beings in historical records. Legendary companions of the Elvari and mortal enemies of the Draconian Empire. The creature appeared wounded, badly, malnourished. Its eyes flickered open, revealing vertical pupils surrounded by glowing azure iris. The dragon made a soft chirping sound, trying to back away from him, but lacking the strength. Mason approached, slowly keeping his movements gentle as he had with the twins. He offered his hand, palm up. The dragon sniffed, then pressed its head against his fingers, a gesture of trust, or perhaps desperation. Getting the creature back to his cabin proved challenging. The dragon was heavier than it looked. Mason fashioned a makeshift sling from his jacket, carrying his discovery through the forest. He felt its heart beating against his back, its breath warm against his neck. When he approached the cabin, Lyra burst through the door, her face transformed with joy and disbelief. She ran toward them, arms outstretched, calling out a name, Azura. Azura, you live. The dragon responded immediately. Chirping and trilling, its tail unfurled, revealing a crystalline tip that glowed with inner light. Lyra took the creature into her arms, tears streaming down her face. Kira joined them, creating a circle of reunion so powerful that Mason felt like an intruder witnessing something sacred. Inside the cabin, the twins fussed over the dragon Azura. They created a nest of blankets near the fireplace. Kira prepared a mixture of protein supplements from Mason's science stores, while Lyra never stopped touching the creature, keeping physical contact at all times. We thought Azura lost forever, Lyra explained, her voice trembling with emotion. She is my bonded companion. Since hatching day, we share life force. Mason watched in fascination as the twins cared for the dragon. Is this why you were so sad looking at the forest? You sensed she was out there. Lyra nodded. I felt her pain, but too weak to find her. Our bond stretched thin, almost broken. Kira added softly. The bond between Elvari and dragon is sacred. Ancient magic from before stars were named. Only royal court permitted such companions. Mason processed this information carefully. You said you were handmaidens. Why would you have a royal dragon companion? The twins exchanged glances, their expressions guarded. We must protect Azura, Kira said. She is special, last of pure bloodline, before Mason could ask more questions. Azura made a soft trilling sound, her eyes locked with Lyra. The Elvari woman gasped, then smiled. She speaks to you, Mason asked. Not words, Lyra explained. Feelings, images, memories. We share mind space. She shows me things I cannot explain in human words. She thanks you for saving her. That night, as the dragon slept curled between the twins, Mason recorded his observations in his botanical journal. He sketched the creature, noting its physiological features. He had so many questions about Elvari dragon bonds, but sensed the twins were not telling him everything. The next morning brought trouble. A colony patrol vehicle hummed past his cabin, moving slowly. The official New Terra security insignia gleamed on its side. Mason watched through the window, his heart racing. Such patrols rarely came this far into the wilderness. The vehicle stopped at the edge of his clearing. A woman stepped out. Her uniform marked her as senior patrol officer, Heather Walsh, known throughout the colony for her strict enforcement of regulations. She scanned the area, then approached the cabin. Mason rushed to hide the twins and dragon in his storage cellar, then composed himself, opening the door with forced casualness. Officer Walsh, Mason said, keeping his voice steady. What brings you out this far? Heather studied him, her expression professional but suspicious. We detected unusual energy readings in this sector. 2 weeks ago, something entered atmosphere, possibly crashed. We found nothing during initial sweep. Mason kept his face neutral. I noticed a meteor shower couple weeks back. Some debris hit not far from here. Want me to show you? Heather looked past him into the cabin, her gaze lingering on various spots. The twins had left subtle signs of their presence. A woven light pattern hanging by the window, Elvari food preparation tools on the counter. Anything unusual to report, Blake? She asked. People forget how dangerous the wilderness can be, especially to those who live alone. Mason shrugged. Just plants and more plants, that is my job after all. Heather nodded unconvinced. She handed him a communication device colony mandate. All outpost personnel must carry these at all times. Governor Martinez orders, we have received strange transmissions. Possibly from unregistered vessels, Mason took the device knowing refusal would only increase suspicion. Thanks, I have been meaning to get a replacement. My old one stopped working after Heather left. Mason released the twins and Dragon from hiding. He explained the situation. We need to be more careful. Someone detected your ship entering atmosphere. They will keep looking. Lyra stroked Azura, who had grown visibly stronger. The dragon now moved around the cabin, exploring everything with curious eyes. Sometimes objects would float briefly when she stared at them intensely. Mason discovered the creature possessed telekinetic abilities. Another fact the historical records had omitted. That night, as they sat by the fire, Azura suddenly stood. Alert. Her scales bristled, head tilted toward the sky. The twins adopted identical expressions of wonder. What is it? Mason asked. Lyra smiled, her eyes glistening. Mother, she whispered. She searches for us. Her scrying orbs have detected Azura life force. Kira nodded. The Queen knows we live. She will come. Mason felt a chill. What does that mean for us? For the colony, across the stars, aboard the royal vessel, Celestial Wind. Queen Elenia stood before a floating crystal orb, her elegant features illuminated by its glow. Her advisor stood nearby, watching as tears formed in the Queen's eyes. We have found them, Elenia said, her voice regal, even in emotional moments. The dragon lives. My daughters live. Prepare the fleet. We go to the human world. New Terra. Her advisor bowed. Your Majesty, the draconian forces still hunt them. If we move openly, they will follow. The Queen turned, her eyes hardening with determination. Then we move with both speed and stealth. The draconians must not reach them first. The future of our people depends on it. Back on New Terra, Mason sat with the twins and Dragon under the stars, the truth slowly unfolding before him. These were no ordinary refugees. The dragon was royalty. The twins kept secrets that could change the fate of worlds. And Mason Blake, simple botanist, had somehow become the center of an interstellar mystery. Lyra took his hand, her 6 fingers interlacing with his 5. We must prepare, she said. They come both friends and enemies. The quiet days end. Now Mason looked at the small family he had created. Alien, yet familiar. Strange, yet beloved. Whatever storm approached, he would not abandon them. The twins and Dragon had become his responsibility. His family. Azura crawled into his lap, her scales warm against his skin. Her eyes met his, and suddenly Mason gasped as images flooded his mind. A vast crystal city. A mighty queen with familiar features standing before an army. A fleet of terrible ships with dragon skull figureheads. The sensation ended as quickly as it began. What was that? Mason asked shakily. Lyra smiled. She shows you home. She shows you truth. She accepts you as clan family. Mason stroked the dragon's head, understanding dawning. The pieces connected. The twins' appearance, the royal dragon, their knowledge of court protocols. You are not handmaidens, are you? He asked quietly. Kira shook her head. We are daughters of Queen Elenia, princesses of Elvari realm, sent away for protection when draconians attacked royal convoy Azura, is last heir to dragon throne. Her power will turn tide of war if she reaches maturity. The weight of this revelation settled on Mason. These were not just refugees. They were royalty. And soon both their mother and their enemies would come to New Terra, bringing a conflict that had raged across stars for centuries. The quiet life Mason had known was over. The family he had found would change everything. And somewhere above their heads, beyond the clouds, ships were already moving through the vast darkness of space, bearing down on their small cabin in the wilderness. The morning sky above New Terra colony blazed with unnatural light. Mason stepped outside his cabin, shielding his eyes as he looked upward. 3 massive ships hovered in low orbit, their hulls black as void, decorated with red symbols resembling dragon skulls. Even from this distance, they radiated menace. Lyra appeared beside him, her face pale with fear. "Draconian warships," she whispered. "They have found us." Inside the cabin, Kira cradled Azura protectively. The dragon had grown considerably in the past week. Now the size of a large wolf, her scales gleamed with healthier luster. Her telekinetic abilities strengthened daily. Mason had witnessed her levitating multiple objects simultaneously. Colony emergency sirens wailed across the valley. The communication device Heather had given Mason crackled to life. "Attention all colonial citizens. This is Governor Martinez speaking. Unidentified vessels have entered our airspace. They identify themselves as Draconian diplomatic envoy-seeking fugitives. They assure us they mean no harm to human settlers. All citizens must remain in their homes. Colony security will conduct inspections seeking illegal aliens. This is not a drill. Martial law is now in effect." Mason turned to the twins, whose identical expressions showed terror. "We need to hide you better," he said. "The storage cellar won't be enough. They will search thoroughly." Lyra placed her 6-fingered hand on his arm. "They sense Azura. Her power grows too strong to mask completely, Isu." Next hours passed in frantic preparation. Mason constructed a false wall in his root cellar behind shelves of preserved botanical samples. The space beyond barely fit the twins and dragon, but it would have to suffice. He provided food, water, and emergency supplies. By midday, the first security vehicles arrived at the outlying homesteads. Mason watched through binoculars as officers in colony uniforms, accompanied by tall reptilian figures, conducted searches. His heart froze when he recognized one of the human officers, Olivia Ward, colony security chief, and his former girlfriend. Their relationship had ended badly when Mason chose isolation over commitment. She knew him well, perhaps too well. Mason returned to the cabin. "They're moving systematically through the valley," he told the twins. "They will reach us by tomorrow morning." Kira emerged from meditation, her eyes glowing with inner light. "We must tell you everything, Mason Blake. The time for secrets has ended." That night around the dying fire, the princesses revealed the full truth. The war between Elvari and Draconians had raged for centuries. Both species shared ancient ancestry, but diverged philosophically. The Draconians believed in conquest, domination, and genetic purity. The Elvari valued harmony, diversity, and preservation of all life forms. Azura was no ordinary dragon, explained Lyra. She is last hatching of royal dragon bloodline, daughter of Queen Elenya, bonded companion. The one prophecy speaks of. Mason frowned. "What prophecy?" Kira continued. "When golden dragon bonds with twin stars, the ancient enemy shall fall and new age begin. Draconians fear this prophecy. They hunt Azura to end her lineage. Our mother sent us away when Draconians attacked royal convoy." Lyra added, "We were to bring Azura to sacred hatching grounds, but our ship was damaged. We crashed here." Azura nuzzled against Mason. Her eyes communicated images directly to his mind. He saw vast wars spanning planets, Elvari and Draconians locked in eternal conflict. He saw Queen Elenya, magnificent and powerful, commanding forces of light. He saw the twins younger, training in royal court. "There is more," Kira said softly. She raised her hands. Small spheres of energy formed between her fingers, glowing with intense, purple light. Mason gasped as the energy transformed into tiny constellations. "I possess forbidden battle magic. Ancient arts passed through royal bloodline. I can turn tide of war, but using such power might consume me." Dawn brought new tensions. Mason packed emergency supplies, ready to flee into deeper wilderness if necessary. Azura seemed agitated, pacing and looking skyward. The twins meditated together, their hands linked, a soft glow surrounding them. Mid-morning, 3 vehicles approached the cabin. Mason recognized Olivia's distinctive stride as she exited the lead vehicle. Two reptilian figures flanked her, their scaled bodies towering over the humans. Their eyes were vertical slits, cold and calculating. Mason stepped onto his porch, keeping his expression neutral. The draconian soldiers examined him with predatory interest. Olivia Ward approached her face professional, but her eyes carried old emotions. "Mason," she said. "It's been a while." Mason nodded casually. "Olivia, what brings security? Chief all the way out here." Her gaze scanned the cabin exterior. "These draconian envoys are searching for fugitives. Dangerous ones." She lowered her voice. "Two Elvari females and a dragon hatchling. They claim these fugitives stole military secrets." One draconian stepped forward, its voice like gravel. "We detect unusual energy signatures, human." Its clawed hand held a scanning device that hummed and flashed. "We require inspection of your dwelling." Mason shrugged, gesturing to his botanical equipment. "I run experiments on native plant compounds. Energy readings would be from my lab equipment. Nothing unusual." Olivia studied him, her expression conflicted. "You always were a terrible liar, Mason." Before he could respond, a colony-wide alert sounded. Through their communication devices, "Attention all security personnel. Multiple unknown vessels detected entering orbit. Identified as Elvari Royal Fleet. All units return to Colony Center immediately. Repeat, all units return." The draconians hissed, in anger. Their leader activated a wrist communicator, speaking in harsh syllables Mason could not understand. Olivia's hand moved to her weapon. "The Elvari Queen approaches," draconian soldier said. "They must not reach the fugitives." Olivia seemed confused. "The Queen herself? Why would royalty come for supposed thieves?" The draconian soldiers exchanged glances. "That information is classified, human. We require immediate access to all structures in this sector." Olivia stood her ground. "This is human colony. World Ambassador, you agreed to our protocols. I cannot allow random searches without governor approval. We return to Colony Center as ordered. You may file formal diplomatic request." Mason watched this exchange with mounting tension. The twins and dragon hidden below could sense everything happening. He felt a strange pressure building in his mind. Azura, attempting contact. The lead draconian stepped toward Olivia, its massive frame menacing. "We do not require permission when treaty violations occur." Mason stepped forward, positioning himself between them. "My research is authorized by Colonial Science Division. All documentation is registered. I have nothing to hide." The tense moment broke when another alert sounded. All vehicles needed immediately. At Colony Center, reports of landing craft approaching. Olivia made her decision. "We return now," she told the draconians. "No unauthorized searches. These are our laws." "Ambassador, you may accompany us to meet the Elvari delegation." The reptilian beings reluctantly returned to their vehicle, but their cold eyes lingered on Mason. Their scanners had detected something. They would return. As the vehicles departed, Mason rushed inside, removing the false wall. The twins emerged with Azura, who had grown, even larger overnight, almost reaching Mason's chest. Her wings now extended impressively. "They know we are here," Lyra said. "They will return with greater forces." Kira nodded, her expression resolute. The Queen approaches. "Our mother comes with royal fleet." Mason processed this rapidly. The colony sat between two hostile alien forces. Neither cared about human casualties in their ancient war. The twins and dragon looked to him for protection. But what could one botanist do against interstellar powers? A plan formed in his mind. If the draconians wanted the dragon and the Elvari wanted their princesses back, then perhaps there was room for negotiation. Mason had discovered something in his research, something about the native plants of New Terra. They contained compounds that enhanced telepathic abilities. Mason mixed solutions in his lab while explaining, "I believe I can create a formula to boost Azura's telepathic range. Her ability to share images, memories, feelings might bridge understanding between species." Lyra watched him work. You would expose yourself to colony authorities. You would risk everything for us. Mason looked at the strange family he had formed. A human botanist, 2 alien princesses, and a telepathic dragon. The most unlikely family in the galaxy yet, it felt right. You are my clan family now, he said. I protect what is mine. Outside the cabin, the sky darkened as more ships entered orbit. The colony sirens wailed continuously. Draconian and Elvari forces, positioned for confrontation with the human settlement caught between them. Kira approached Mason, her hands glowing with battle magic. I will teach you our ways, brother, she said. We face this together. As night fell, 3 beings looked skyward, knowing tomorrow would change everything. A war that had burned across galaxies for centuries would reach its turning point on this small world, all because a human man once showed kindness to starving alien twins. Dawn broke over New Terra with an unnatural light. The sky filled with ships from 2 opposing forces. Elvari vessels gleamed like polished silver, catching sunlight and transforming it into rainbow patterns. Draconian warships hulked against the clouds. Dark and threatening colony citizens huddled in emergency shelters as alien craft hovered above their homes. Mason worked through the night, his botanical laboratory cluttered with equipment and plant samples. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he refined his formula. The twins assisted, passing tools and ingredients while Azura watched with intelligent eyes. This should enhance Azura's telepathic abilities. Mason explained, holding up a vial of shimmering green liquid. The plants on this world contain unique compounds that amplify psychic energies. I believe it will allow her to project thoughts and memories across greater distances, to more minds simultaneously. Lyra stroked Azura's scales. The dragon had grown remarkably now, the size of a small horse. Her wings stretched wide enough for flight, though she had not yet attempted it. Our bond already strong, she said. But this might bridge understanding between species. A communication alert sounded Governor Martinez's voice, strained and frightened. Attention, colony citizens. The Elvari Queen has requested landing clearance. She wishes to address our leadership and the Draconian delegation. Remain in your designated shelters until further notice. Kira's eyes widened. Mother comes herself. The Queen never leaves homeworld except in gravest circumstances. Mason looked through his cabin window. Multiple landing craft descended toward the colony center. Elegant vessels with flowing organic designs. The largest bore royal insignia, its hull decorated with symbols matching those on the twins' clothing. The confrontation was inevitable. We must go to her. Lyra said, standing tall, her royal bearing evident. We must end this before humans suffer for our presence. Mason agreed, gathering his botanical compound and essential supplies. Azura seemed to understand, padding to the door, her scales shifting colors with excitement. The journey to the colony center was tense. They traveled through forest paths, avoiding main roads. Mason knew showing up with the very beings both alien forces sought would cause chaos, but he saw no alternative. The formula was ready. Azura was prepared. The time for hiding had ended. As they neared the colony outskirts, they witnessed the spectacle. A massive Elvari ship hovered above the central plaza. Its design, beautiful yet powerful, smaller Draconian vessels positioned strategically around it. Colonial security forces formed a perimeter, keeping nervous settlers back from their vantage. Point Mason and his unlikely family watched as a delegation descended from the Elvari ship. A procession of elegant guards in crystalline armor escorted a tall, regal figure, whose presence commanded attention even from a distance. Queen Elenya, her silver hair flowing like liquid starlight, her bearing undeniably sovereign. The Draconian ambassador stepped forward with his guards, their reptilian forms towering over the humans. Their leader wore elaborate battle armor adorned with trophies. From past conflicts, his voice carried across the plaza. Queen Elenya, he growled, you violate treaty entering human territory. Your fugitives committed crimes against Draconian Empire. They will be surrendered. The Queen's voice remained calm, yet powerful. These humans are neutral in our conflict, Ambassador. You bring warships to peaceful settlement. This violation is yours. Governor Martinez, a small woman, nevertheless stood firmly between the alien leaders. "This is human colony world," she stated. "Neither Elvery nor Draconian has jurisdiction here. We demand immediate withdrawal of all military vessels." Mason turned to the twins and dragon. "This is our moment. We must reveal ourselves before violence erupts." Kira's hands glowed with battle energy. "I will protect us if needed." Lyra knelt beside Azura, whispering final instructions. The dragon's eyes gleamed with intelligence. Mason administered his botanical compound, pouring the liquid carefully into Azura's mouth. The effect was immediate. The dragon's scales illuminated from within, a soft blue glow emanating between them. Mason led his family toward the plaza, their appearance causing immediate reaction. Colonial guards raised weapons. Draconian soldiers hissed in recognition. Elvari royal guards moved protectively toward their queen. Queen Elenya froze, her composed expression breaking for an instant. "My daughters," she whispered. The Draconian ambassador pointed accusingly. The fugitives seized them. Mason stepped forward, hands raised. "I am Mason Blake, colonial botanist. These beings are under my protection. By Elvari tradition, they are my clan family." Governor Martinez stared in shock. "Blake, what have you done?" Olivia moved beside the governor, her face showing betrayal and something else, perhaps admiration. "You hid them all this time." Chaos threatened to erupt. Draconian soldiers, advanced Elvari guards formed defensive positions. Colonial security caught between, uncertain where to point their weapons. In that critical moment, Mason nodded to Azura. The dragon reared up, her wings extended fully. She released a harmonic cry that resonated across the plaza. Then the telepathic wave struck every being human. Elvari Draconian experienced the same vision, memories flowing like water across minds. They saw the twins as children in the royal court, learning ancient ways, receiving their dragon companion when Azura hatched. The attack on the royal convoy, their desperate flight and crash, the starvation and fear, then Mason, finding them, feeding them, protecting them, teaching them. The vision shifted, showing Draconian history, their ancient wars, their fear of extinction, their desperate measures to ensure survival, their belief that the prophecy meant their doom. Then, Queen Elenya's memories, her grief at losing her daughters, her determination to find them, her love transcending space. Finally, Mason's memories, his loneliness on New Terra, his joy at finding the twins and dragon, the family bonds formed across species, barriers, the hope that understanding could prevent bloodshed. When the telepathic wave ended, silence fell across the plaza. Beings of 3 species stood motionless, processing what they had experienced. Mason stepped forward, addressing all present. "We share more than we realize." He said, "The twins came to me starving. I fed them, because that is what humans do. We help those in need. Azura was wounded. I healed her. I did not see enemies or aliens. I saw beings needing compassion." Queen Elenya approached, her regal presence softening as she looked upon her daughters. "This human speaks truth, Ambassador." She addressed the Draconian leader. "My daughters did not steal secrets. They protected the last royal dragon as was their duty." The Draconian ambassador seemed shaken by the shared vision. A prophecy need not mean destruction. Perhaps it speaks of change. Evolution. Governor Martinez found her voice. "These matters extend beyond human concerns, but this colony will not become your battlefield. You will negotiate peacefully or depart." Queen Elenya turned to Mason, studying him with ancient eyes. "You have cared for my daughters as your own. When all others would fear them, you showed kindness." She placed her 6-fingered hand upon his shoulder. "In our tradition, one who saves another from death becomes clan family. You are clan to my daughters, therefore you are clan to me." The Draconian ambassador watched this exchange, his reptilian features unreadable. Yet something had changed. The shared telepathic experience had affected even his cold heart. Mason presented his botanical research. My studies show that plants on this world enhance telepathic abilities. They might help bridge understanding between your species, end conflict through communication, rather than war. Queen Elenya looked at her daughters who stood proudly beside Mason Lyra with her hand on Azura Kira, with her battle magic dormant yet present. The queen made her decision. My daughters have found a new home here. It seems a new family. Her eyes held ancient wisdom. They will remain as ambassadors, learning human ways, teaching Elvari knowledge. The prophecy speaks of new beginnings. Perhaps this is its meaning. The draconian ambassador considered, "We will withdraw our immediate forces, but we require assurance. The dragon will not be weaponized against us." Mason looked to the twins who nodded in agreement, then to Azura, who projected images of peace. The standoff slowly dissipated as leaders of 3 species began dialogue. That evening, as delegations met formally in colony headquarters, Mason sat with the twins and Azura outside his cabin. Queen Elenya joined them, her royal guard keeping respectful distance. "You have changed everything, human botanist," she said, her voice both mother and monarch. "My daughters speak highly of you. They consider this world their home now. You their family." Mason felt humbled, yet proud. The most unlikely family in the galaxy sat together under alien stars, a human botanist twins. Of royal alien blood, a telepathic dragon, and now a queen. Across species, across worlds, across differences that seemed insurmountable, family bonds had formed. Because one man chose kindness when confronted with hunger. Because 2 princesses recognized compassion as greater than protocol. Because a dragon shared truth when words failed. Queen Elenya watched the twins speaking animatedly with Mason, showing him Elvari star patterns in the night sky. She saw the happiness in her daughters' faces, the peace they had found far from royal courts and ancient wars. They had discovered something precious. Family transcending biology. A home built on understanding. The queen made her decision silently. She would allow this strange new family to grow. She would visit when stars aligned to see her daughters and their human father. Perhaps in this unexpected bond lay hope for all their species. 3 months passed since the confrontation in the colony Plaza New Terra, transformed from a simple human settlement to an interspecies diplomatic center. The once quiet world now hosted delegations from both Elvari and Draconian empires alongside human representatives. A fragile peace treaty took shape word by careful wordmason Blake, once lone botanist, now stood at the center of historical change. His cabin expanded into a larger dwelling surrounded by gardens of both earth plants and alien vegetation. His botanical research facility received funding from all 3 governments. His compound that enhanced telepathic abilities became the foundation for new communication technologies. The twins Lyra and Kira flourished in their role as ambassadors. Their royal heritage combined with their understanding of human ways made them ideal bridges between worlds. They retained their quarters in Mason's home, maintaining the family bond that had formed through crisis. While officially representing Elvari interests, they increasingly identified as citizens of New Terra Zura grew at an astonishing rate. The dragon, now large enough to carry riders, soared above the colony, her scales shifting between blue and purple hues, catching sunlight. Colonial. Children watched in wonder when she flew. Sometimes she carried Mason or the twins on short journeys, her telepathic abilities allowing communication without words. One morning as dawn painted the sky in gentle colors, Mason sat on his porch drinking. Lyra joined him, her movements graceful as always. "The final treaty signing happens today," she said. "Today, history changes." Mason nodded. The document represented thousands of hours of negotiation, compromise, and careful diplomacy. For the first time in centuries, Elvari and Draconian representatives would sign an official peace accord with humans serving as neutral witnesses. "Many still doubt this will last," Lyra continued. "Some on both sides prefer the old ways of conflict." Mason understood the challenge. Change never came easily, especially to ancient species with centuries of hostility. Some draconian hardliners had attempted to sabotage negotiations. 3 weeks earlier, some Elvari nobles questioned their queen's wisdom, but progress continued despite resistance. Kira emerged from the house, Azura following behind. The dragon nudged Mason affectionately, sharing images of flight and freedom. "Governor Martinez has requested our presence early," Kira said. "The draconian ambassador wishes to speak privately before the ceremony." Mason rose, gathering his formal attire, colonial botanist turned diplomat. His life had transformed completely, from solitary researcher to family man to interspecies mediator, all because he once showed kindness to starving alien twins. The colony center now featured a newly constructed peace hall, a domed building incorporating architectural elements from all three species. Inside, representatives gathered in circular formation, no species given prominence. Over others, human colonial officials wore their finest uniforms. Elvari delegates dressed in flowing garments that seemed woven from light itself. Draconian representatives displayed ceremonial armor polished to gleaming perfection. Queen Elenya arrived last, her royal vessel descending with elegant precision, her presence commanding respect from all gathered. She wore formal regalia, yet her eyes softened when she saw her daughters standing beside Mason. She approached them, placing six-fingered hands on their shoulders. "Pride shines from me. Today, my children," she said softly. "Your courage has brought 3 worlds to this moment." Mason bowed respectfully. The queen had accepted him as clan family to her daughters, a political recognition that shocked many Elvari nobles. She now acknowledged him publicly as family. The ceremony proceeded with ancient formality. Representatives from each species spoke of hopes for future cooperation, promises of cultural exchange, technological sharing, and mutual defense. The treaty specifically designated New Terra as neutral territory, a symbol of new beginning, a place where all 3 species could live, work, and grow together. Olivia Ward, now liaison between colonial security and alien delegations, approached Mason during the reception that followed. She had eventually understood his actions, even admired his courage. "Never thought I'd see you at the center of galactic politics," she said, almost smiled. Mason shrugged, still uncomfortable with attention. "I just fed 2 hungry visitors. The rest happened around me." Olivia looked toward the twins who conversed with draconian diplomats. "They're not just visitors anymore, are they? They're your family." Mason nodded, watching as Azura performed aerial displays. Outside, visible through the transparent dome, the dragon had become the symbol of their new alliance. Her telepathic abilities, enhanced by Mason's botanical compound, allowed her to serve as translator between species, sharing concepts, emotions, and images when words failed. The draconian ambassador approached, his reptilian features severe yet respectful. "Human botanist," he said, "your formula has applications beyond communication. Our scientists wish to collaborate. Our ancient texts speak of plants with similar properties on lost worlds." Mason agreed. Cooperation in botanical research had become his primary work. The natural compounds of New Terra offered healing possibilities for all species. Queen Elenya joined them, her regal presence drawing attention. "The treaty is signed," she announced. "Yet paper means nothing without continued effort, without trust built daily. We have centuries of hatred to unlearn." Governor Martinez raised her glass in toast to new beginnings. She said simply, "To family, bonds that transcend biology." Later that evening, Mason returned home with the twins, and Azura. Queen Elenya accompanied them, her royal guard maintaining discreet distance. The queen rarely showed her maternal side publicly, but in the privacy of Mason's home she relaxed her formal bearing. She watched her daughters prepare an evening meal combining human and Elvari cuisine, their happiness evident in every movement. They had adapted to human ways while maintaining their heritage, creating something new and beautiful from both worlds. Mason worked in his laboratory, Azura, assisting by moving objects with her telekinetic abilities. The dragon had bonded with him, forming a secondary connection alongside her primary bond with Lyra. Together they refined the telepathic enhancement formula, making it stable for long-term use. Queen Elenya observed this domestic scene with complex emotions. Her daughters had found something precious here. something they might never have discovered in royal courts and formal protocols. They had found authentic family. The future holds challenges, she told Mason when they stepped outside to view the stars. The treaty is but beginning. Ancient hatreds do not dissolve in single day. Mason nodded understanding. Some Draconians will resist, some Elvari too. Humans fear what they do not understand. But we have made start. The Queen studied this human who had changed everything. His kindness to her starving daughters had altered the course of galactic history, not through grand strategy or military might, but through simple compassion. When formal farewells were complete and the Queen prepared to depart, she made unexpected announcement. I have designated Lyra and Kira permanent ambassadors to New Terra. She told Mason, they will remain here with you. Their home is here now. Their family. Mason felt emotion tightening his chest. Thank you, Your Majesty. The Queen placed formal hand on his shoulder. We are clan family now. Mason Blake. When stars align, I shall return to visit my daughters and their human father. She almost smiled. Then bring honor to our house. As royal vessel ascended into night sky, Mason stood with twins and dragon watching lights fade into stars, their impossible family silhouetted against constellations. Human Elvari dragon, 3 species united by bonds stronger than blood, inside their home. Mason had created space for cultural artifacts from all worlds. Maps of Elvari star systems, alongside Earth geography texts, draconian philosophical, scrolls translated to human languages, photographs of colonial life displayed near royal Elvari symbols. A home that represented future possibility. Azura settled in her special chamber built to accommodate her growing size. The dragon projected contentment, images of flight freedom and family. Her scales glowed softly, illuminating the night. The twins prepared for tomorrow. Already their schedule filled with diplomatic meetings, botanical research sessions, cultural exchange programs. Their royal heritage now served greater purpose, building bridges between ancient enemies. Mason sat beside garden window, looking at stars, thinking of journey that brought him here. From lonely botanist to center of galactic family, from isolated researcher to architect of peace. All because when confronted with hungry strangers, he chose kindness. The human colony outside buzzed with new energy. Elvari delegates established cultural center teaching. Ancient arts. Draconian engineers shared technological knowledge. Human scientists contributed adaptability. Creativity, collaboration, replacing conflict slowly but steadily. Lyra joined Mason by window Kira, following with warm drinks made from blend of earth and Elvari herbs. We are family now. Lyra said simply, family, built by choice stronger than blood. Mason nodded, watching as Azura projected dreams to them all. Images of future possibilities. Worlds united, knowledge shared. Ancient prophecy fulfilled not through destruction, but through creation of something new. The stars above New Terra witnessed quiet revolution taking place, not through weapons or wars, but through understanding. Through family bonds formed across impossible divides. Because one human man once fed starving alien twins, and now they dreamed as family beneath alien stars.